The opinions and recommendations expressed by Dan are his own and do not necessarily represent the opinions of this station or any of the show's sponsors.
Welcome back, 866-300-9298, 866-300-9298. You're listening to American Family Radio Network. Financial Issues, I'm Dan Celia. We're here every day at this time on Biz Television, on the AFR Radio Network, on some other stations as well, and sure appreciate being here every day, and always appreciate and hope that it's edifying for you guys. I know so many people learning so much, and I'm so grateful for that. All the major indices right now, well, no, they're not. The NASDAQ and the S&P still negative. Then Dow has turned positive up by 6. Let me go back to the phones. Let me go to Paul. Paul's calling us from Louisiana. Hey, Paul.
Hey, Dan. I got a quick question. I've had several people that have, I guess, talked to me about this MLM company called Team National, and it's like, you know, a discount service. You pay a fee, and then you get offered certain discounts. And I just wanted to see if you had, you know, any time to research them, if you'd heard of them,
yeah,
if you thought of it.
You know what? I don't know a lot about them. I have heard about them. You know, sometimes when I see things like that, Paul, I kind of put them all in the same class. You know, the discount people that you can join and all I can say about them in general, this is a general statement, but all I can say about that is that they're as good as you make use of them. And if you are, and Devin and I, it's funny you should mention, Devin and I were just talking about this at the break. I was talking about my daughters and them, the way they do their discounting and their couponing and shopping and all that. And, you know, if you use these things, they're definitely beneficial. But you've got to be willing to, you know, get out of your comfort zone in a way that you are going to buy some things that are going to be alternatives to what you might normally buy. So all I can say about them is you'll get your money back and then some if you use them, if it's like the rest of them. But other than that, that's all. You know, I haven't done a lot of research on the legitimacy of that particular organization.
All right. Well, thanks, Dan.
All right, Paul. Thanks for the call. Let me go to Charles. Charles calling us from West Virginia. Hey, Charles, how are you, brother?
Good morning, brother. How are you? Blessings to you and your family.
Thank you. Same to you.
Nobody has to take a second seat in Philadelphia when it comes in regards to snow accumulation, do they?
No. It's killing me, Charles.
You guys are unbelievable.
It's killing me. But I'll tell you a beautiful thing. Now, twice now, last 2 snowstorms. Yesterday, which wasn't that much. We only had about 4 inches. I think it was yesterday or the day before. And the one before that, we had about 9 inches right after we had 18 inches. And both times I came up after doing my program, my wife had everything shoveled and cleared. Man, it's
unbelievable.
It is a beautiful thing. She's starting to handle that snowblower like a champ.
What's the secret? Tell us all.
I don't know. Just stumbled upon it. So she's decided she likes doing it. And, you know, I'm not going to argue with her, Charles.
I hear you. Dan, I have a statement I want to make, and then you can expound on it, and then I want to have a question. The first thing is devaluation of the dollar, which I think you have agreed that it's going to come eventually. Who knows when? Yeah. But when that occurs, you know, like China and Japan and some of these other countries are gathering together and meeting to form some type of currency base to trade on, not the dollar. Mm-hmm. Is that having an effect already on things like housing and that sort of thing? And if you could expound on that dollar devaluation procedure, I'd appreciate it. And secondly, whatever happened to the discussion about devaluating the credit rating of the United States? That sort of seems like it slipped off the table. If you could if you could talk about those two things, I'd appreciate it, Dan.
I'll do it.
Keep up the good work.
I'll do it, Charles. Thank you for your prayers and your support, man. I appreciate it. Thanks, Charles. Here's what I think. So, the downgrading of the U.S. credit rating is off the table because, frankly, everybody's scared to death. And I talked about Eric Holder using his Gestapo-like tactics on the S&P. The S&P downgraded the U.S. and they paid dearly for it. It cost them maybe not tens of yet, but millions of dollars in legal fees defending trumped up charges from the Justice Department. And it was nothing more than the Justice Department saying, don't dare even think about downgrading the U.S. credit. Look what happened. S&P did it. If any of you other guys think about doing it, you too will spend millions of dollars defending her. I mean, I'm firmly convinced that's what it is. Well, and I said that from day one. You Charles, you remember that. But the S&P finally came to that conclusion too about 6 months into it and filed a countersuit and saying that these charges were all trumped up, and they were trumped up as a result of threatening us and other agencies for that. And since that's happened, and that got in the press a little bit, it's dropped off the face. And frankly, I'm sure there's some information on it out there, but it's even dropped a little bit off my radar screen, and I haven't been following on it. I don't want to try to follow up on it since you mentioned it, because now I'm curious. But it basically, I think it's going away. But nevertheless, the point was made by the Justice Department, and I know the point was very well taken by the other ratings agencies. So I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of talk about downgrading U.S. credit anytime soon as a result of that. And that's been going on in a lot of areas in the nation. As far as the devaluation of the dollar, I don't think that what China has done and some others about not using the reserve currency of the dollar under certain conditions with their trade, like China's trading with now New Zealand, Vietnam, some other parts of a small part of the Asian world there in their own currencies. So they're not using the U.S. dollar any longer. And, they're trying to expand that and trying to get away. Has that impacted the devaluation of the dollar today? No, I don't think it has. Not yet, Charles. I think that the government is doing a great job themselves devaluating the dollar and really don't need any help from other governments in that. Will it someday, if it escalates and continues, start impacting the dollar? Absolutely, in dramatic fashion, if it gets to that point of escalation. Now, when it started to happen, I said, look, we're 5 years away from anything replacing the dollar. And it was just because of the logistics of it and the complications of it. But could it happen? Yes, it could happen. Will it impact the U.S. dollar devaluation? Yes. But more than anything, I think the Fed and the printing of money is going to continue to impact the devaluation of the dollar more than anything else. And there is a loss of confidence. Yes, we're seeing a loss in consumer confidence, a loss in business confidence, and so on and so forth. But there is a loss in other government confidence. And I think that, if you go to other countries, I have a friend of mine that is a president of a large pharmaceutical company, and he's president in their Asia division. And he lives in China for another year or so, I think he's got over there. And, he travels around that part of the world quite often. And when I talk to him about, the whole idea of the credit and the worthiness and the worth of the U.S. dollar and the government, I mean, it's, everybody's, talking poorly about it behind our back. So I think it is having an impact, but not a direct impact quite yet. Great stuff. Thanks, Charles. I appreciate it. Let me go to Debbie. Debbie calling us from Texas. Hey, Debbie.
Yes, hello.
Go ahead, Debbie. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for what you do. I have a question about transitioning my 401k into an IRA. I'm being told by the gentleman that I'm going to be talking to on Friday that it's going to cost me about $200 to make that transition.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a correct charge, or is there generally that kind of charge?
No, not generally, and I'm not sure why it would cost anything. You're going from a 401k to an IRA. There shouldn't be any fees connected to that. It should be just a direct rollover, unless there is some odd reason why the company that you're leaving is charging, not the company as in the company you were employed by, but the company, the mutual fund company or whatever, whoever has the 401k. Now, it's possible that the 401k could be made up of commercial annuities. And if that is the case, then there could possibly be a charge because there may be some surrender charges in the latest money, but there usually isn't on a rollover. So I'm not real certain why there would be charges.
Okay, well, he hasn't even looked at the makeup of the 401k yet. So.
Oh, okay. So if it's the receiving firm, is that what it is that's charging you $200?
Yes.
That's just a fee they're charging you because they think they can. That's all that is. So I mean that's nothing more than that. That's just they hold themselves in such high esteem that they believe that it's worth $200 for the privilege of you putting all your money with them. And so that's all that is. And frankly, I wouldn't use them. I wouldn't say, hey, I don't want to pay this fee because they'll drop the fee. I wouldn't say that because the idea that they were going to charge the fee says something about them to begin with, and I probably wouldn't use them. Okay.
All right. I appreciate the information.
All right, Debbie. Thank you for that. 866-300-9298. 866-300-9298. You're listening to American Family Radio Network Financial Issues. I'm Dan Celia. Let's see if we can get Michael in here from Ohio. Hey, Michael.
How are you doing, Dan?
Good.
I have a couple questions. I took my 401k out back in 2010 for hardship. My mother was a minister. She passed away, and I had to get out of the house. But she's ready to go to church on the home. And then now, since 2010, they've been taking my income tax. And I'm fully 100% invested in my company. Then I have some mutual funds. Mm-hmm. Now I'm 59, and I can wait another couple months and take some money out without being penalized. And I really don't want to do that. But can you give me some name of some companies where I can call the Fidelity and say I want to invest money in like some oil or gas or something? Well, I can make some money within the next couple of years and get IRS off the back.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's the thing. You still have to pay taxes even though you're 59 and a half. So you have to pay taxes on whenever you move out again. So make sure that you have them withhold the taxes or you pay them right away on the money that you withdraw. So you're still going to have to do that. And Michael, I'll tell you something. I get this question asked of me so often, like every day, as I try to scan through some emails. How can, I make some money in the next couple of years? I don't know. I don't have anything. I really don't. I'm not, I've never been that kind of analyst. I don't believe, I believe my philosophy has always been, if you're trying to make some money in a short period of time, 2 to 4 years even, in a short period of time, then you need to do nothing with your money because you need to be more concerned about not losing it. It is far too risky when in a short period of time to try to do something to make money in a short period of time. Now, if you talk to somebody else, they're going to say, well, yeah, we can do that, but you got to go here. And the more opportunity that you're trying to get, in other words, I'm trying to get this opportunity of making a lot of money in a short period of time, the more risk you're going to have to take. And that's when you really start ending up getting in trouble. So I don't have any answers for you on that or any answers to anybody else that might ask that question. It is a difficult one to answer because I don't track that. I don't believe in that. I'm the kind of person that's thinking, hey, look, we got to do this for the long term. If you're not investing and you have a short time horizon, then put it in a money market or a CD and just sit tight and try not to lose anything. You've been listening to Financial Issues. Phone number 866-300-9298. I appreciate all of you being with us. I'm Dan Celia. It is Financial Issues. We're trying to help people take a good look and learn a little bit about the economy, helping you be a good steward with all that God has given you. And yes, we will talk a little bit about politics as well.